Hey everyone, welcome to today's video. Welcome to the Video Game Fight School channel. Today, we're going to be talking about the new standard in comic book gaming or superhero gaming, whatever. And joined by me is Mr. Fat Ninja DM, and we're just going to be chatting about this because there's so much that's happening in the industry right now. But before we jump into it, Mr. Fat Ninja, introduce yourself for those who do not know who you are.
Hey, what's going on, people? I'm a on and off dungeon master for about 23 years. Just an overall, general nerd. I like tech. Just talking about phones, talking about video games, comic books, other nerd type stuff. And once again, I'm just really happy and honored that Gaming Daddy would have me to be with him on this journey on this one. So without further ado, let's go ahead and crack open this topic and see what we can dredge from the bottom of the gaming community. Because right now, thanks to Cyberpunk, it's looking pretty murky right
Oh my gosh, cyberpunk, cyberpunk. Oh, but this conversation that we're trying to kind of spark here with the community is something that just stemmed from our conversation just a few minutes ago, actually. Right now, Gotham Knights is still in the oven, baking, cooking, being developed and debugged. And, for the longest time, the Arkham games were sitting on kind of like this little throne that, they made for themselves. Rocksteady had done such a good job that if you were looking for a superhero game that actually made any sense, you found yourself actually, in Gotham Knights, in the Arkham game, sorry. And for the longest time, that was the case. But since 2018, Insomniac, who is kind of the new kid on the block, has been tirelessly working, and they even confess that their inspiration is actually taken from the Arkham series. They've been able to make a solid set of Spider-Man games, and I think this is the new standard. Not only is this the new standard, it seems like this standard is going to be something that they're not only going to be making a superhero game, they're going to be exploring superhero tropes that are buried deep within the comics, and they're going to be going out on a limb. And you, Mr. Fat Ninja DM, said this is most likely the risk that needs to be taken. Do you think that Gotham Knights is taking enough of that risk, or do you think they're still playing it safe, even with their Batman's dead, but they're still kind of showing you Mr. Freeze and some villains that we've seen in many other games. So when are they going to show the new villains? Let's hear what you have to say about this.
now. I think they are playing it a little too close to the vest on this one because as you said earlier, we have seen the success of Miles Morales with the Tinkerer, who, like comic book fans of Spider Man, they'll know who the Tinkerer is, but through the people that don't like religiously read the comics or keep up with the comics in general, they're not going to know. So I think what they need to do with Gotham Knights, they need to open up that bag just a little bit more
Hmm.
and pull out. Yes, you still need your regular tropes, but you need to go ahead and just expand just a little bit because you want to still keep a solid base for your fans of the game, but you need to kind of look past that just a little bit and either make up a new villain maybe just for the video game or just reach in deep to the Batman mythos, because Batman is just not just Batman. It's so many people that he's teamed up with. So maybe he did a team up with let's say Superman, because he's always teaming up with Superman.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe one of those villains just got finally ticked off enough. He's like, you know what? I've been trying to kill Superman for a long time and I can't do it. Let's go after Batman. you know,
Hmm.
let's try to take out one of Superman's main pillars of support.
Hmm.
Maybe that could be visited. So, yeah, I understand that they want to play it close to the vest because, at the end of the day, they want to make money. That's their main purpose. But, let's take a little bit more liberties, maybe reach out to the community and actually listen to the community. Hey, what villain would you like to see? Take a poll, just do something just a little bit different. Because, like you said, Miles Morales not only set the bar a little bit higher, they also um, let people know that, hey, a game doesn't have to be a 50, 60 hour game. you know
Hmm.
it can be a short romp through the universe of your favorite superhero, just as long as the proverbial saying, it's quality better than quantity. And I think that's what it really was here. Yes, Miles Morales was a short game compared to a lot of normal time standards for games being completed, but what they presented was, it was it was nice. And of course, us as gamers, of course, we would want more, but what we got was very, very decent. So it's still a win-win, but we're in 2020. Thank goodness we're almost out of 2020 because it was
Hmm.
been a crappy year. But with Miles Morales moving forward, the formula doesn't have to be the status quo that it's always been up until this point.
That's very, very well put. Very well put. I strongly believe that, Miles Morales really did challenge a lot of what gaming was. In fact, it was a few weeks ago we made the video saying that Miles Morales was too short, or seemed too short. And then I went ahead and just played it, and I was blown away. I was like, so for something so short, it was basically, it checked off all the boxes. It did a good job in bringing a Spider-Man to the universe, allowing for comic book fans to be able to explore something outside of Peter Parker, and then bringing the Tinkerer in. And yes, bringing in his uncle as kind of a side villain was something that was trying to stay true to the some of the character developments deep, because Miles Morales, he's still being developed, so a lot of his familial connections are still very important. And even though the audience may have frowned on him at first, he's still going to be developed like Peter Parker was with, Uncle Ben and Aunt May. So they're trying to develop Miles's own Uncle Ben and Aunt May, and they're different. They have their issues, they have their imperfections and all, but that's what they're doing. I think with Gotham Knights, that they need to really go ahead, and challenge the norm. I know they're already doing it, and I've also kind of, in a sense, just kind of under my breath complained a little bit about the difference being too much. But I think now that Spider-Man Miles Morales is actually testing the ground and doing it well. They are basically challenging everything that we are knowledgeable about when it comes to superhero games, and they really want to push the envelope. And I think if Gotham Knights does not push the envelope in the right way with the right recipe, because you can push the envelope too much and basically throw everything away, that's also another a risk that you have to be very careful about. But if they do it right, they can continue to maintain that title. But I'm not really worried though. The only thing I'm worried is about, perhaps maybe 2021 might not be the year that we get to see what Rocksteady's about. But Rocksteady can always come back and clean up house if they do a good job, which it's hard for them. It's hard to imagine them after 3 games not doing a good job. I don't know. 3 solid games in the superhero genre. They're trying to make another game, but hey, that's all, for a different discussion. But like you had said, I really want to hear your thoughts though. Do you really think that, even from a financial perspective, that it can still work? Do you think if they actually bring this freshness to the game, do you think financially they can still benefit from it if it doesn't really resonate, or do you think it's solely financial and fans are just not gonna resonate with it? What do you think?
Well, like what we were saying off air, people are going to buy the game regardless. I mean, look
Okay.
at people bought Avengers, and
Mm-hmm.
we seen how much of a dumpster fire that was, and people still bought it.
Mm.
People still bought Cyberpunk.
Mm.
That's a hot garbage fire. Straight from the planes of where. So there is a formula, and people follow it. and people will buy it. It's not until us as gamers we start solidly speaking with our wallets will that change. And but until then, it's just going to be status quo. And I mean, we're going to have, hopefully we won't have games like Avengers and Cyberpunk and various other games that have fallen flat on their face. But we just got to be hopeful, and hopefully that the game developers have learned their lesson, CD Project Red, and others that have looking on the outside looking in. They need to take notice. You can't just release anything and expect it to be successful. There are certain standards that you need to follow every single time you step into the studio to start making a game.
Okay, that makes sense. I guess we're gonna just, let you guys in the comment section respond. I mean, there's so much to kind of consider. Another thing too to consider is that the game is most likely very well advanced in development. So if by now some of these things aren't being taken into or haven't been taken into consideration, I wonder, what other things would be exciting enough to bring the audience together. Because this is, sure, they may not push the envelope. They may keep things kind of, like you said, close to the chest, but they may also execute it flawlessly and, make it really good for everybody to enjoy. That's one side of it. But at the same time, like we said, it's going to be hard not to compare Miles Morales with what they're doing, and try to kind of put them all in the same box, even though they're different games, but still, superhero games still, and, will still have to live in the shadow of one another from time to time. But nonetheless, that's basically our video for today. We wanted to bring this short discussion to you guys just to kind of provoke a little bit of that, thought process, because you can't ignore Spider-Man Miles Morales anymore. And, Gotham Knights being a game that was most likely in development before Miles Morales, and Miles Morales being released before Gotham Knights, it's an interesting timeline that we're seeing right now. So that's it for us. Thank you so much for your time and audience. We appreciate you guys so much. Mr. Fat Ninja, sign off, and we're out of here.
All right. Once again, big shout out to Gammy Daddy for putting this together. And when you least expected it, I just stole your critical hit and your sandwich. Later, folks.
Take it easy, y'all. Peace out.